it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid. I think someone wrote Umtiti on the cover. Nix, do people think you look like Umtiti?
They think I look like every black guy who's got hair. So it's Umtiti, Kolo Toure. There's a rapper, I think, called Khalid or something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, apparently I look like all of them.
I think I like it. What's called? I was so when I was walking outside of my university one time, UCL, and someone just said, "Hey, Drogba." I was like, "Hey, that's not bad."
Did you start doing the celebration?
I was just like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Oh, some random black dude." Then she just walked off afterwards. They were so disappointed when he was in Drogba. Guys, Football Dugout, we are back here again, man. I am back. I landed back from Nigeria yesterday, man. You know, after a week.
Welcome back.
The food, the weather. Oh my god! So good. But look, man, what has happened? A lot of stuff for us to discuss. I will obviously be looking within the live chat and everything, and we're going to be making a little announcement maybe towards the end pertaining to our Patreon page, because Football Dugout, you know, we've been building this nice family for the past month or so, and we're ready to take things to the next level and really make this one of the most unique, interesting football shows out there. But of course, we need the Football Dugout familia to help us do this, man. So look, man, and our main man Devil is still out on holiday in Australia. You know,
down under,
doing things with the kangaroos. Not Australia. What's it called? I think those are the descendants of English criminals. That's just facts.
Oh, that's where they. I say that. That's where they started. But remember, there was the Aboriginal people in Australia before the British sent their criminals there.
Yeah. Okay. Look. That could go left. Let's just leave that for now because. Yeah, okay. A lot to say about that. So, man, this is definitely going to be about VAR. VAR is going to be our main topic. So, there's a poll up on my page, head over to my page and vote on what you think should be done about VAR, because VAR was hugely in contention in the games that occurred yesterday. But I'll be remiss if you don't say hello to our guest who's been holding things down, Kyle. So, you know what, Kyle? There are people who love you and the people who think you're horrible. And that's why I just love having you on, because I really love the people that hate you. That I get given gets moved over to you. So, guys, please throw your hate towards Kyle and everything's insult his hair, insult his look, call him light. And everything you can, just insult the dude. Kyle, how are you, man?
I'm good. I saw the lineup today, the topics of discussion, and quite interesting. So I'm good. Can't wait to dive in.
Before we dive in, why are you wearing a Barca shirt when you were wearing a Man City shirt last week?
And the Barca's before that, because Barca's my team. And because of one of the topics, I said, you know what, I got to represent my team. So I got the Barca shirt on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was actually going to go with the Juve one because I was wearing it all day today. But then, changed my mind and jumped in the Barca.
Also, it's weird because I have a huge thing to say about the Premier League. I began my rants about the Premier League on the Sunday hangar. I'm going to continue it today because there are some things I'm going to say about the so-called Premier League, which that name needs to be removed. After the crap that this Liverpool jokers have been doing, we were sold a lie. That's what I'm saying, we were sold a lie. So let's now get over to our first thing, man. Let's now look over at the weekend review. What is Lampard's best team? So let me just get things off, being the complicated Chelsea fan that I am. Consistency. Chelsea need consistency now. If we're not going to really look at this question in particular, Mason Mount isn't in Chelsea's best team. Mason Mount is a talented player, very talented player, but he simply doesn't work for this team. And I think that he detracts from what Chelsea are trying to do. He had a very good start to begin with, and he formed a great understanding with the Tammy Abraham. But this is where, as a manager, you have to take yourself out of it and do what is best for the team. I think for Lampard, he's like, oh my gosh, Mason Mount is my guy. He's my guy. I think he's the player that Lampard sees himself in. So once you get really close to a player like that, you're like, what managers like to do is like, I was loyal to you. When they said that I should drop you, I still kept with it. And at the end of the day, I was proven right. That's what managers always want to do. But it takes a great manager to be like, it's not going to work. Let me take a step back and just admit that this is not going to work. So let me come first to Nick's with this. Actually, let me just, okay. Lampard's best team, I believe, is, so obviously, okay, you have that clown Kepa in goal, but it is what it is. Reece James at right back. Tomori. This is difficult.
What formation are you using?
I'm going to say Tomori. I'm going to say Rudiger Zuma. So this is all I'm going to say Rudiger Zuma. Then I'm going to say Aspilicueta. As much as Emerson, I just think is average. So if you have an average wing back, get somebody that has security. Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. You have that three in the midfield. And as front three, Pulisic, William, and Tammy. When Loftus-Cheek comes back and is fully fit, then Loftus-Cheek, for me, would displace Jorginho. So we'd have Kovacic and Kante forming to the base. Carl, don't do your blurry eyes like that. What the hell? Look straight. Look straight. Are you crazy? And I'd have Loftus-Cheek being the midfielder that really runs through. So that's what I would do. So, Nix.
I agree. I agree with your team, actually. The 11 that you picked initially. And I think Tomori will probably go on to be better than Zuma, I think. But as it stands, I would still have Zuma over Tomori partnering Rudiger. Rudiger obviously is clearly the best centre-back that you have. And I think everyone next to him looks better. I think I've seen Chelsea improve defensively since he come back into the team, which is why I was so surprised that Lampard's now gone to three at the back, because you're thinking, well, now you got Rudiger back. When Rudiger wasn't there, you were playing two. And I know they were going on a bad run of form. Cool. You were playing two. Now you've got Rudiger back, who's the best out of the bunch. Why do you need to go three? Because then you suffer elsewhere. And for me, the midfield three has to be Jorginho, Kante, and Kovacic. So by going three at the back, you lose that midfield three. And I think that, for me, is Chelsea's best midfield and is their key to winning. Now, I know against Spurs, they went three at the back. And the front three worked very, very well. They pressed high, won the ball back up high in the pitch, and they ultimately deserved to win that game. But obviously, I think Jorginho was suspended for that game, if I'm correct. So I think his hand was kind of forced. But we saw the impact that Jorginho made when he came off the bench against Arsenal, and he should have started. Kante, very good player. Kovacic, very good player. None of them do what Jorginho do in terms of sitting in that, what they call a registered position and dictating play. Yes, he should dictating play. He ran that game when he came on. Yes, he should have been sent off. Arguably, the person who fouled to get sent off should have been sent off earlier anyway. So, it's one hand washes the other. It kind of evens itself out. But for me, that midfield three is the first names on the team sheet, and you build a team around that engine room. And that includes when Loftus-Cheek comes back. He has to earn his place. He can't just be fit and then you slot in ahead of Jorginho. No way.
Yes.
If he's gonna come back, if he come back in, it has to be ahead of Kovacic.
Do you know who Loftus-Cheek is? What the hell?
Listen, if he comes back, it has to be ahead of Kovacic, because Kovacic is the one who plays on the left of the three, and he gets forward a bit more. Well, he gets forward much more than Jorginho does. Loftus-Cheek is a player who likes to drive forward, so there's no way I'll replace Jorginho with him. But as I say, for me, when he comes back, he has to earn his place. I'm surprised, not slightly, I am, that you didn't pick Hudson-Odoi, because last season a lot was said about him. He signed the thing. He kept him away from the clutches of Bayern Munich, and I know he got his injury, but he came back into the team, and then we ain't seen him apart from fleetingly off the bench. But I agree, Pulisic and William for me are both ahead of him, and of course, Tammy. He's so far this season he's proved that he's Chelsea's best striker.
Also, before I go to Kyle, I just want to say congratulations to my good friend and my idol Cristiano for winning the Dubai Door, which is some trophy that he picked up. Kyle, don't take it. For Cristiano, my idol, congratulations. This just shows why he's such a great player. He's winning awards all over the world. He's an international ambassador. So for Cristiano, congratulations on winning your award in Dubai. And I hope that you and your family are well and healthy. Kyle.
That's why Kyle was wearing his That's why Kyle was wearing his Juventus jersey, because he was celebrating Ronaldo's victory and whatever you're talking about.
Definitely not. However, I do somewhat agree. Probably about 90% of the players that you lot have selected. However, I'm a complete left turn when it comes to the formation. I actually believe that Lampard's best 11 and best formation is something completely different to what he's been using at the moment. I think he should be playing 3 at the back. The 3 at the back should be Rudiger, Azpilicueta, and Tomori, 3 centre-backs. And the 2 full-backs who will be wing-backs, whose main priority within the team is to attack, concentrate less on defending and more on attack. So you remember that season when you had Victor Moses as a wing-back? He was a winger playing as wing-back, and he was immense. And everyone was like, "Oh, but he's trash." And a certain Javern didn't like him for no apparent reason, even though me and Neats kept saying world class, just obviously winding him up. But he was playing that wing-back. I think Willian should be playing the same position as a right wing-back, but his main duty in the team would be to get forward and supply crosses and support the team going forward. And obviously, so it'll be a 3-5-2 formation. You've got Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic in the middle, and either Alonso or Emerson on the left side, and Willian on the right side.
Crack. Cause where you're smoking crack.
Let him land, innit? Let him land.
No, you got him land.
We're in the air, Kyle. You said the question is Lampard's best team.
Yeah.
How is Marcos Alonso in anyone's best team?
Because going forward, he's your best left-sided player.
He actually is. Emerson's overrated, and he's not even good. They don't even rate him, and he's overrated.
This is why I put in what I said. Their main duty, the main priority within the team is to go forward and support the team attacking. So Alonso doesn't have to focus on defending. Everyone's berating him and saying he's trash because he can't defend. Okay, we'll take out defending out of his game and do what Gareth Bale did and convert him into a left winger or a left wing back or whatever. Take away his defending attribute, the defending aspect of his football, and make him just do nothing but go forward. Him on the left, Willian on the right, and obviously the 3 in the middle, like I said, Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic, and you have Pulisic and Tammy up top. That's his best team. For me, that's how I would roll with it. That's his best team.
You're getting a lot of hate in the chats. People telling you don't do drugs. Go to the Brick Academy.
Wait. What?
I'm being serious.
No, that's why I think you're on drugs. That's why I think you need to be drug tested, because I think you're being serious. Willian as right back. Alonso starting for any team. Pulisic and Tammy as the 2 up top. What the hell? Look, let's move on now. Man United, are they in the top 4 race now? Look, we're going to have, maybe not now, maybe this will be something that will be for an extra Patreon feature, which is a Rashford Tammy debate. Maybe we'll do that for a little exclusive feature, because that is a debate that I'm ready to have. I'm ready to have that debate. But let's just focus on the question right now. Yes, Man United are in the top 4 race. Like, I think Solskjaer may have slowly steadied the consistency ship, which is that before it was like, we can beat the big teams, do crap against the small teams. Now it just seems, and I think this is what I was saying before, because when I can't remember the game it was, when I saw Greenwood in one of this Europa League game, I was like, no, put him in the team. I'm not all about meritocracy. I'm not about, he needs experience. Not yet experience. United do not have the luxury of, amazing senior players, and Greenwood isn't ready. Greenwood is ready for the first team because he's good enough for the first team that United now have. So I think him being introduced has been great. And I just think that United are now finally finding their groove with regards to a chemistry permeating within the team. Martial, Rashford, Daniel James, they're now all connected within each other. Even Fred Flintstone is doing something. I think Fred Flintstone and McTominay are forming an understanding in that midfield. The defense is looking good. So I think the top 4 race is going to be, Wolves are up in it. Tottenham are up in it. And Chelsea have to look over their shoulder. And even for Leicester City, they seem to maybe be slipping here and everything. So 100%. So yes, in the top 4 race, will United get top 4? Let me give you. Let's put it as a percentage. How about that? So since I believe they'll make top 4 as a percentage, I think there is I would say 82% chance they get top 4.
Man United?
Because what?
Man United?
Yeah. 82% chance. Because
that's about 80% too high.
Oh, no. 82%. Because I believe that I still don't believe in Chelsea's consistency. Chelsea's consistency does worry me. Tottenham, I still don't think they're there. Mourinho is doing great with what Tottenham are doing, but I still don't think they're there yet. So, and I still believe that Leicester City are going to go on a bad run. I still feel they will go on a bad run. So I think Leicester City may just slip up. So I just think that for United, I think, so maybe, you know what, maybe I'd say 78%, 77%. I still think that I still think that the likelihood, I think, is high because I feel he has gotten a groove for them. But there's still that kind of 12% off chance because where they just lose some of these dumb games. So let me confess to Kyle because I know Nix will want to go on in a soliloquy. So Kyle, first off, will United make top 4? If they will make top 4, what is the likelihood they get that top 4?
Well, I don't think they will, and the reason why I'm saying that is because start of the season predictions that we all made, I didn't have Man United in the top 4. And quite frankly, I don't actually know anyone that had Man United placed in the top 4 at the start of the season. The team, and I'm going to stick by it, just simply isn't good enough. The team is just not good enough. They might be on a decent run of form at the moment, few wins here and there, but come the end of the season, their quality will show that they're just not good enough. So I don't think that they're going to make top 4. I think there's still a couple of teams ahead of them in the race. That being Spurs and Chelsea. I think they're both ahead of Man United in the race for top 4 and will be for some time. Man United would have to have about a 6 or 7 point lead above Chelsea and Spurs for me to be like, well, you know what? Top 4 is Man United's. I honestly, I just can't see it. I can't see it. I don't see any way that Man United can get top 4. Like it will be difficult. It won't be easy. It will be difficult.
So you don't believe in the English Mbappe?
Who's that?
Rashford.
No. But it's not even about Rashford though, is it though? Because he can score his goals, but if they're still leaking goals, it doesn't. How much of a difference will it make? Like, when was the last time he got like a brace or a hat trick? I'm pretty sure he's just scoring. He's the what do you call it? Glorified Giroud.
What, won a game?
Yeah, man. Glorified Giroud won a game, man.
Listen, I'll take one a game for 38 games, innit? Leave the doubles.
Yeah, but if
doubles to Martial.
I don't know, man. I can't see it. I mean, if they have a huge January transfer window, then my mind might be changed. But if they don't make much changes come January, I can't see it. I can't back Man United.
You see me. Carl's right. At the beginning of the season, I don't think anyone had Man United top 4. I know I didn't, but I also didn't have Chelsea in the top 4. Foolish me. I had Arsenal. Foolish me.
Bro,
Yes.
same. I look like a complete moron.
I do.
Those,
And you know
those guys are not. Those guys are not dreaming of top four. No, they're not dreaming of top four, bro. They are fighting for mid-table right now. Mid-table superiority.
So that has thrown everything out of kilter. Add Leicester into the mix now. Where do we go from there? Because I'm saying at the beginning of the season, for me, Chelsea weren't good enough for top four. They won't be consistent enough. I thought Arsenal would be, and I didn't consider Leicester. But now Leicester are in there. Chelsea are in there, but they're a bit dodgy. And Spurs, who I had like as a nailed-on guaranteed top four, they're 1 point. Wait, they're behind us. They're 1 point behind us. So I have to an extent, I have to put my preseason predictions to one side because the only one that is true right now is that Man United are outside the top four. That's the only thing that's actually consistent. I do think Leicester will go in a bit of a slump, but a downturn in form at some point. Chelsea.
Actually, I'm just looking at the table right now. Yeah, because so Leicester City 42 points, Man City 41 points, Chelsea 35, United 31, Tottenham 30, Wolves 30, Sheffield United 29. Yeah, I think Leicester might be good for that top four, bro.
Yeah, I think they'll go on a slump, but they'll have to lose like 3 games more than Man United, and we still got losses in us. It's not like we're going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season and catch Leicester. We've got losses in us. Chelsea have got losses in them. Spurs have got losses in them, especially in the big games. But if anyone's going to get in there that's not in there right now, I will go with Spurs because I think Jose will get them to... No. Jose will get Spurs to win the majority of their smaller games. It's the big games where they will struggle. But as I always say, there's more small teams in the league than our big teams. So if you win the small games, you're more than halfway there. You just need to maybe get a point away from home in the Big Six clash, which again, I know he struggled to do so far. He's lost to Man United and Chelsea. But I think January coming up, it will be important. As far as Man United go, our only chance lies in Pogba staying fit for the rest of the season. If Pogba isn't fit for the rest of the season, for the second half of the season, then we can kiss goodbye to the race, to the possibility. So I'll say with Pogba, I'm saying 50-50. Without Pogba, 20%. We're just not that good.
Wow. All right. Before we move to our last topic, before our main topic, let's hit the super chat. So thank you for the £2 super chats via VAR. What are we talking about? Who is more of a big game player, Origi or Aguero? Origi. Aguero is a Premier League merchant. He's never scored an important Champions League goal. He's never scored an important international goal. Come on, is this a debate?
All Champions League goals are important.
Has he scored in a CL semi or a CL final?
I don't think he's even played. He hasn't played in a CL
semi.
Yeah, because his team is crap.
Well, you're so good, you could help your damn team go through, bro.
Nah, it was a big game. Someone could argue that Origi is one of the biggest game players in the world. If you were just to look on the goals that he scored, the Everton goal, the Newcastle goal at the back in the last season, the Barcelona. Champions League against Barcelona in the final as well. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but if I had to choose, if I had a Champions League final, and I'm like, you got one space on the bench. Do you go Origi or Aguero?
You are mad to even think of.
No, because the thing with the Origi one, you're banking on, let's say, you needed one goal. If you need more than one goal in a Champions League final, or Aguero needs to, the player needs to play for 60 minutes because someone gets injured, or you back Origi over Aguero.
Yes.
Put it like this. When Aguero's played in a final, and the one that I remember was the Europa League final. Yeah, it was Europa League back then.
It was one against Fulham.
I believe he scored in it. Maybe even got both goals. So if I'm correct, I can't actually remember. I believe he got both goals. I think they won 2-0. But when he's in the position or in the moment, he doesn't let you down. It's just that Origi's been in certain moments more than he has. But you take like 2012 Premier League last day of the season, last minute, last kick of the season, that was Aguero.
It's not Champions League, bro. It's not Champions League, bro.
It's a Premier League.
It's different. Kyle?
I don't know why you ask me such stupid questions, man. I don't even want to answer it, man. You hear me? Divock Origi or Sergio Aguero? I don't want to answer that, man.
No. Because okay, so wait. Are you picking Origi or Aguero? I just want to be clear.
The kid couldn't even spell Aguero's name, man. I'm picking Aguero, man. I'm not picking Divock Origi, man.
Why? Based on what he did to Barcelona.
The guy's shite, man.
Kyle, as a fake Barca fan, that answer is completely bad. That answer is coming from a very dark place because of what your boy did against you guys at the Field of Anne. I'm sorry, it is. So I'm sorry. Basically, I don't believe your answer. Your answer is crap. It's been scrapped. Let's move on to our final topic before our main topic. The GOAT. Alpha Hinga, no, sorry, that's the other dude. Broken by Roy Keane. Erling Haaland, the guy who looks like a James Bond villain, has joined Dortmund. So he joined Dortmund, and I believe I was reading something that said Paco Alcacer now wants to leave. So Atletico are now looking to get Paco Alcacer in January, and obviously they maybe get Cavani in the summer. So Atletico are looking interesting there. So. Now, people have come at me by saying that I'm rude, I'm racist, because I think there's a new thing on that, like, I'm racist against white players as well. I love white people, just don't be racist. I love white people. So really the question here is, how successful do you think Erling Haaland can be for Dortmund? How well do you think he can help Dortmund? I want to see this kid. Okay, you know what? You're no longer in the cocoon of Salzburg. I get what you did in the Champions League group stage. That's all cool. Now, live chats. I need your help here because I keep on asking this, and I'm still not sure. Can he play for Dortmund in the Champions League? Because that's going to be huge. So so they scrapped that rule.
So what it is, you can submit one player who is technically cup tied. But if you say they were to sign two, say they signed like, I don't know, Tammy Abraham, and they can only choose one of the two.
Okay. So that's now that makes the PSG game a little bit more interesting, just a little bit more interesting. So my thing here is that I'm not sold on Haaland. I don't think this guy's the next big thing. I think he's talented. I think the guy can be a decent striker. There's no way in hell this guy is going to be in the same sentence as the Us, Sancho, or the Prodigy. So, Nix, two questions here. What is your take on Erling Haaland? Do you think that he can become the next great striker? And how well do you think he'll do for Dortmund?
Firstly, I just want to know why you keep mentioning the Us every 5 minutes. The man, when's the last time he done anything? When is the last time he's actually done anything?
He's two-footed, can dribble, and is bloody amazing.
When's the last time he did anything amazing with his 2 feet?
Trust me. The Us is absolutely shite, man. He's trash, man.
Kyle,
send him back where he come from. Send him back where he come from, man. Kick him out the club like did Coutinho, man. The guy is absolutely garbage, man.
Wait. What did he say about Coutinho? What?
I said kick him out the club like we did Coutinho. The guy's trash, man.
Can you answer this question, please, man?
Haaland, or Haaland. I think it's a good move for him. And I actually tweeted, I said, obviously it was linked to Man United, as well as 12 other clubs, but obviously they only mentioned Man United and Juve. But I did tweet, I said, I will take him at Man United. He's a talented striker. He's got a release clause of, it was 20 million euros, about 18 million pounds.
Haaland, Solskjaer convinced me they're both Norwegian.
One second. 18 million pounds. So for me, it's risk-free. 18 years old, you're spending that kind of money. If it don't work out in this market, what is 18 million pounds? It's not much at all. So I would definitely would have taken it. But I actually tweeted, I said, for me, if I was him or his representative, I would tell him to move to either Leipzig or Dortmund, because Leipzig, they play with 2 strikers, and I can't remember the guy who plays next to Timo Werner, but he's been struggling this year.
Oh, you mean that Danish dude, I think. Yeah.
So if they brought him in, that's a strong possibility of him starting or having the opportunity of starting week in, week out, which is what one of his demands were. Dortmund, another one, who, what's his name? Alcacer. He hasn't really had a good season at all. They've played Rice through the middle. They've interchanged, they put different people there because he ain't really done what he needs to do this year. So for me, that's another opening for guaranteed, pretty much, as long as you perform, first team football. So that's the 2 things that Man United couldn't offer him, because you don't walk in and say, Martial, you're benched. Like that, it don't work like that. And we know Martial's best position is through the middle. So you're not going to put him now on the left and put Rashford on the right and then mess up everything. So one thing, we couldn't guarantee him first team football. The reason why apparently we didn't get him, other than I think that is the best move for him, so maybe he's actually got some sense just to make that move. Raiola, as he does, the crook wanted so much money. His father, who's also one of the represented, wanted to include a sell-on percentage. So obviously, whatever we sell him on for, they receive part of that money. And they wanted a release clause. And Man United said, no, like, we will dictate the sale of any player. If we have a release clause, it's no longer under control. All it takes is another club to activate that. So that's apparently the reasons why we didn't get him. Who really knows apart from the people involved. I think he will do good at Dortmund. I think it's a good step up. Like from Austrian, I think to come straight to the Premier League at 18 years old would be massive. The pace of the Premier League is completely different to a lot of the physicality is different. I would say if he wanted to move to the Premier League further in his career, the German league is a perfect transition from where he is to where he may want to be in the future. The way Dortmund play and the way that they've nurtured young players over the years, I have no reason to think that he wouldn't be successful. He looked good from when I've seen him. Yes, he's 18 years old. He's not going to be perfect. He's going to struggle at times. The Liverpool game, the last one in the group, he wasn't great, but I saw enough as well as previously to say he's talented. I would never pay what some were quoting 60, 70 million because he hadn't proved that. No way. But he's a talented striker, and I can see him doing good at Dortmund.
Kyle?
What Nick said. Next question. No, I'm joking. No, I somewhat agree. He's definitely talented. Not talented to the level of like Mbappe, but he's definitely got something about him. But how many times have we said that about players and they fail to live up to their hype? Sometimes that's what you need. You need a low price tag, 18 million. You go about your business. You go to someone like Borussia Dortmund that don't have super high expectations and that play and nourish youngsters. You don't want to go to Man United in a club that's currently struggling, and fans at the moment are demanding big things because they've been in a rut for so long and they want, all right, now it's time for the club to turn around. And you sign a player like Haaland, and then he's 18 years old, and when he doesn't start producing in the first year or the first 18 months, fans are on his back and on his case. I mean, look at Pepe at Arsenal. The guy can't even sniff the team anymore. The guy's coming to a team that's struggling. The expectation is currently high because fans have been in a rut for so long. And then he comes in, he gets berated for his performances. Now he can't see the team. I think the managers are protecting him a bit. They're trying to, work, or clearly they're trying to work on something in training. And it could have potentially been a similar situation for Haaland. So I think he's made the right choice in joining Borussia Dortmund. Like I said, Borussia Dortmund don't have super high expectations, not to the same extent as Manchester United. And he definitely does have the ability to be, somewhat of a great striker for them. I would say, if all goes well for him, of their last 2 great strikers, I think he can be as good as Aubameyang. Not quite as good as Lewandowski, but he can be as good as Aubameyang. From there,
Let's just run on because we have to try and get to our main topic. So before we go to our main topic, I missed the super chat. So this was a super chat from Amke. Thank you for your super chat. Let's just keep this very, very brief. Best 3 strikers of the decade. So I will start.
Wait.
In the Premier League or in the world?
In the world. Best strikers of the decade in the world. Look, Roy. Don't be an EPL merchant, man. Lewandowski, David Villa, Didier Drogba. Those are the best 3 strikers of the decade. Lewandowski, Villa, Didier Drogba. Kyle, best 3 strikers of the decade.
Lewandowski, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Chris, he's
No, he's been playing a striker.
Wait, Cal, go on. Cal, carry on. Let him land. Let him land.
You said 3 strikers. No.
Let him land. Let him land.
It said 3 strikers.
Let him land.
Listen.
It said 3 strikers.
Let him land. Let him land.
You see, Lewandowski, what's the other one?
Listen, let him land.
Why are you grilling me like so? He's been playing as a striker for the last decade, bro. What is he? 35 years old now, and he's for the at least 6 years of this decade, he's been playing as a striker. Anyway, Lewandowski, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Luis Suarez.
It's funny because I wouldn't have Ronaldo there, but that's all you call him. You call him a striker. You've been calling him a striker for a good few years. You have. We've had that discussion, and you came on the podcast, the New Sports podcast, and you debated with us whether or when he last played on the wing. I don't know if you remember, Carl. And you didn't even know when he was playing on the wing and didn't play on the wing or whatever it was. So I'm surprised now. Maybe you've done some research and found something else. I don't know. But I'm surprised now that you're actually shooting that down because I thought that would subscribe to what you believe. But anyway, I would go Lewandowski, Luis Suarez, and Sergio Aguero. Kun.
Okay, look, let's move on, man.
Shout out to Cavani, though. Shout out to Cavani.
I mean, he's done this.
Should VAR be scrapped? Now, look, man. Now, look. VAR. I'm confused about this whole thing. So, I look at the games on the weekend. First off, I am been back and forth with the VAR, back and forth. But there's something that someone said. I don't know whether it was Chiellini or someone. Someone said that there is a beauty in the imperfections of football. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? No. Shouldn't we want things to be perfect and rules to happen, blah, blah. But this whole thing of like, I scored. No. Corner kick. No. Just wait. And this is what Nuno Espirito Santo was saying. A referee who's not even on the pitch, in some flipping Matrix Minority Report science fiction kind of booth, is making the decisions on the pitch. That's wild to me. Waiting for 3, 4, 5 hours for something to happen is wild to me. Even when the decisions are made, I'm like, what the hell? But my biggest beef with this is this, and especially with the Premier League. The referee. We don't have 2 referees. We have 1 referee. You're the referee. And as the referee, take your lazy ass over to the TV screen and make a decision. So the referee said, I don't deem that to be a penalty. Oh, but I trust some dude who's not on this pitch to say, yeah, it's a penalty, because trust me, you could take 2 referees who look at a foul inside the box. One referee will be like, that's a foul. Another will be like, no, I don't think that is enough for it. Because there are those gray area fouls. There are those gray area fouls specifically within the box. And you can have a situation where 2 referees will give 2 different decisions as to whether that's a foul or not a foul. So why the hell the referee, the designated referee of the game, isn't the one making the decision is wild to me. It's completely wild to me. So let's start off first with Knicks, because we're going to break this down. So let's just start first with this question then. We've had VAR now. This is the first thing that we've had VAR in the Premier League. What are your thoughts on the use and how well VAR has been utilized in the Premier League in its first season?
VAR has improved the accuracy of the decisions. I don't think that that's any doubt. It's not 100% still. I don't think it will ever be 100% once there are subjective calls such as fouls, but it has definitely improved the accuracy. Even if you look at something like offside, and we're going to get to that, statistically, it has improved the accuracy by the letter of the law. But the way the Premier League has implemented it is ruining the experience. It's ruining the experience. And I haven't been to a Premier League match this season. Previous seasons I have when there was no VAR, and I've enjoyed it. And I'm sure Premier League going fans this year are still generally enjoying it. But if I'm annoyed from watching it behind the screen, they must be absolutely, excuse my friends, pissed off. Because the experience for a match going fan with VAR must be so frustrating when they don't have the commentary. All they see is his fingers on the screen being checked for possible handball. I think I saw one being checked for offside, and it wasn't even offside they were checking. It was handball. So I'm like, I feel sorry for them. The Premier League, and I said this previously on a previous dugout, the Premier League they think they're bigger. They think they're better. They think that they must do everything different to make their league, our league, the best league. The Premier League as a brand is the biggest league in the world. Why try and go against the grain to prove that, you know, you're innovative and that kind of stuff? When everyone was a bit skeptical about VAR before it came in, but when we watched the World Cup, we said, this can work. This can actually work. Everyone said it. And because of what we saw in the World Cup, and even at times in the Champions League, we said, this can work. Let's bring this in. And when all the teams voted for it, I'm sure it was on a basis of what they saw in the Champions League and what they saw in the Premier League. Oh, sorry, in the World Cup. So why would the Premier League bring in their own modified version of VAR? Is that what the people voted for? I don't think so. As you said, there's a screen on the side. You leave that decision to the referee on the pitch, because somebody has to be accountable. By passing the buck off to this person in your ear, you absolve yourself of any blame, of any responsibility, and it throws the game into disrepute. Because who is making this judgment? Stockley Park. You know, someone in Stockley Park who has no faith. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So VAR shouldn't be scrapped, no. But if you tell me right now, if you said to me that as VAR is in the Premier League, this is how it's going to stay, then yes, it should be scrapped. But I want to see the VAR we had at the World Cup. I want to see the VAR we have in the Champions League.
Kyle?
I'm like 90% in agreement of what Nick said, pretty much most of it. Like you said, if you're asking me, should this VAR right now, have we got it in the Premier League, should it be scrapped? And it's going to stay that way for, say, the next 5 years, then yeah, scrap it, get rid of it. But if they're willing to say, you know what, this season was a mistake, we didn't implement it properly, we're going to go again next year, we're going to do it right, then yeah, VAR should definitely stay. And I think when I say this, it's for everyone. Literally, when we heard VAR was coming to the Premier League, our expectation was it's literally going to be exactly what we just saw at the World Cup. Referees running over. That World Cup was probably the most penalties we ever saw in a World Cup. It was so many penalties, but most of them were correct, and there wasn't too many arguments about whether it was a penalty or whether it wasn't a penalty. So I think most of us thought that we were getting what we saw at the World Cup. They came with their modified version, but I think what they should have done is left it the same, and then you run it for the year, and then you say, okay, now we can see where we can make changes to improve VAR. You don't come in with a whole new system for it to fail and everyone start complaining and say, well, now it's time to get VAR out of the game, because quite frankly, that doesn't make any sense. One of the things that they could have improved on, for example, is the offside. So say they kept VAR exactly how it was at the World Cups, but obviously you've got far more games in the Premier League than you do in the World Cup. In the World Cup, you've got 64 games or something like that, 64 matches. And in the Premier League, you've got, hundreds of games. You've got hundreds of games. So there's way more games in the Premier League than you do at the World Cup. So over the course of the season, you may say, okay, offsides haven't worked and we can improve it. We can now change the law of offside or change the way we use VAR for offside to improve the decisions. You don't come with some modified bookie version of VAR for everyone to be screaming, oh, get VAR out the game. It's no good. Why have you done it like this? Like, I mean, it's so hard to watch at times. It's so hard to watch, and quite frankly, I don't know why they've done it like this. Like Nick said, it's because the Premier League think they're bigger and better than everyone else. But even if that is the case, you go with the grain, you do what everyone else is doing, and then you make the first change that betters VAR, and everyone follows suit. And then you can say, this is why we are the Premier League, because we make improvements.
But I think to the point that Carl was making is that, because again, I thought this makes no sense. Why would you change it? And I think I read that the reason why they wanted to do it is because they thought that this system would make the decisions faster. So rather than the referee to go over to the screen, their belief was that, if we just allow the referee just to stay there, the guy over in the booth who already is next to the TV can make a quicker decision. Scrap that. The whole point that this was brought in is we want the right decision to be made by the referee. And that's the key thing. So we will deal with the speed afterwards. Because I think it should be faster. But the main thing was we want the right decisions to be made by the referee. It is crazy that, because again, we're not dealing with machines, we're dealing with human beings. And we're dealing with a very complicated sport that football is, where not everything in football is black and white. Not every foul is the same. And the key thing is two referees can view a certain foul differently. Hence why you have lenient referees and very harsh referees. That's why in the World Cup you always say, man, if you get a South American referee, they could either be very harsh or they could just let things flow. Because in the Cup, like, when you watch the Copa America, the amount of fouls that are allowed are completely different from when you watch like a European game. So, and
that's why you get people like Marcos Rojo, who just flies into tackles because he was probably getting away with it.
Like, yo, man, look, this is what we do down in my hood, man. What the hell? What's all this European crap? So I just don't understand, because again, I have to agree with what you guys said. Run it for a season. That's what a trial run is supposed to be about. Run it for a season and then see what changes need to be made. So now in your arrogance, you've made this decision before the trial run. And as Nick Jojo said, guys already say, no, scrap this whole VAR. Where's like, you actually haven't had the VAR that has been working pretty well for the Serie A, La Liga, and the Bundesliga. Because looking at how it does in La Liga and Serie A, it's pretty good. Like, foul is made, jog over to the TV screen, they watch about 4 or 5 replays, whistle, they make the decision.
And the thing is, how because there's still a human element to it, whether it's the guy in Stockley Park over here or the referee going over, the referee can look at it and still say, no, I'm sticking with my decision, or I'm going to change it. And someone somewhere still going to be like, he got it wrong. But what you do in that instance, you give the referee the view and the chance to see what we see. So before the reason why VAR's come in is because we've been so critical. We have all the views and the slow-mo replays, and we're like, how did the referee not see that? Well, because they see once in real time. What you do, you give the referee the same opportunity that we have, and then you trust his training, his judgment, his expertise to make the correct decision. That's all it's about. It's not about being 100%, because it's never going to be 100% acceptable for everyone. But what I would say, and there's a question I want to pose. I've been reading on a couple of the sites from the Sky Sports and BBC. It was actually Graham Souness who raised it, I believe it was, about whether the offside rule should be changed, because that's where the biggest controversy or discernment, I think the right word is, about VAR has been how tight the offside that are being called, whether or not the screen resolution XYZ, the frame per second. And so the question he posed was that should it be changed? I'm sure it was him who, that basically at the moment, if one part of your body that you can score with is past last defender, it's offside.
Stupid. No.
One second. The suggestion is that if one piece of your body is onside, then you are onside, as opposed to the other way around. So as long as part of you is onside, should it then be onside, which would then remove, you'd hope, there'll be less instances of a shoulder, an armpit, a big toe, which is against the spirit of the game.
No. Basically, what was the reason the offside rule was brought in? So an attacker doesn't get an unfair scoring advantage.
Yeah.
The essence of football is it's difficult to score, and that is the beauty of football. It's chess. It is very hard to score. So the whole point of offside is to stop goal hanging. Is to ensure that you don't have crazy goals and guys like that. How much advantage do you have if your shoulder is ahead of the last man? Your knee is ahead of the last man. I can't remember what this is true, but I believe when I was growing up, I think the rule was if there is space, if there's any space between the attacker and the last defender, you're offside. But
It was that was never in the rules, but it was like I think that's how it was judged by the linesman. But it was never in the rules about daylight.
okay, yeah, that's what the lines are. See, for me, either space between the attacker and the last man, or as Sune said, if any part of you is onside, you're onside. I think an easier thing to call, especially using VAR, is the space. You see, the beauty of what this VAR thing has done is it will now force people to look at the offside rule because it's stupid. I remember the one with Raheem Sterling where literally his pubic hair was offside. His pubic hair was offside. I was like, that's just stupid. That's just stupid because I know that it's technically the right decision, but
Yeah.
as Mitchell said, you have to understand the spirit of football. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Because football isn't a scientific experiment kind of thing of X's and O's. It's not X's and O's. It's understand the spirit of the game. In the spirit of the game, it is crazy to be called offside. It's crazy to say that because my pubic hair is offside, I have now gained an unfair advantage. So
I want to bring Kyle in because there's a point that he made to me earlier. I wanted to let the viewers know in terms of how offside should possibly change.
Before you answer, I think this is towards you. So thank you for the £5 super chat VAR. I think this is for you, Kyle. He says the reason you don't like the Oos is because he didn't score against Liverpool at Barca. Even though he scored, Liverpool will still beat Barcelona 5-0 or rather 5-1. That's a fact. Response?
Just quickly to answer that question. No, that's not the reason, man. I had my hatred for him before that game, man.
Hater?
Man, I had my hate for him before that game. So no, that's not the reason. I mean, Liverpool are proper full of themselves, aren't they? They think the world revolves around them and every answer revolves around them. Jeez, man. But no, what Neeks was saying is on the VAR, I hear what you're saying, Have Hope, that it's ridiculous that if one strand of your pubic hair is offside, then VAR can somehow zoom in and magnify that and call you offside, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But with what you're saying is you think that there should be space between the defender and the attacker, then people will question what is a space, how much is a space.
No.
It would be subject
any amount of space, any amount, because for me it's even easier to call remember we have VAR, any amount of space which a computer can see, you're offside. Any little you're offside.
I hear what you're saying, but I feel that to make it more fair, because like you said, offside was brought in so the attacker doesn't get an unfair advantage over the defender, and having your pubic hair offside isn't an unfair advantage because, quite frankly, if Raheem Sterling was even 10 centimeters further back, more onside, he probably still would have scored that goal. The players that have been 2 centimeters offside, if they were 5 centimeters back and were onside, they would have still scored the goal. So the question is, did they actually gain an unfair advantage? And I think Graham said it was 22 decisions that have been, 22 goals that have been chalked off due to very tight decisions on offsides. So 22 goals have been chalked off by VAR for offsides. And what I proposed is that now what they need to do is put a distance on how much they are going to give the attacker until they consider it an unfair advantage. So if you say, okay, we're going to allow you to be half a foot, half a boot. So you got half a foot. So say half a foot is like 10 centimeters. You got 10 centimeters. Anything more than 10 centimeters, we're calling it offside. So If their knee is ahead of the last defender, but only 8 centimeters of their knee is ahead of the last defender, they're onside. But if it's 11 centimeters, then they're offside, and you have to use strict numbers, and they literally have to measure it, because you get this 0.5 centimeters and they're offside, and we're going to call it offside. That ruins the spirit of the game. It stops the flow. It stops the flow of the game. They're checking unnecessarily, because back in the day, those goals would have stood, and no one really would have had an argument. You would have said it's a very tight call. We can't blame the linesman for not flagging, because that's too close for anyone to call, and there wouldn't be no big argument about it. Now we've got VAR, and they're making these judgments over pretty much 1 or 2 centimeters, and they're giving it, and it's causing nothing but arguments. Change it so you say, okay, if they're more than 10 centimeters offside, we're going to call it, because 0 to 9 centimeters is that close margin where we can say, you know what? Give the benefit of a doubt to the attacker, let it go.
And the reason why I agree with that point, whether it's 10 centimeters, they might say 20, wherever they decide to set the number at. But it also gives leniency, or gives a way for the frames per second. At what point did the ball actually leave the player's foot? Because there's not enough frames per second for you to get exactly all the time to know when the ball left his foot. So if you give a little margin, it allows for that. Now, all I will say is wherever you decide to draw the line, that's where you have to draw the line. So if it happens to be 10.5 centimeters, I don't want to hear no one complaining that, it's only 0.5. No, that is where the line is drawn. So when it comes to VAR hasn't done anything wrong but follow the letters of the law. But the Premier League, outside the offside to an extent, the Premier League has implemented incorrectly. When it comes to offsides, if you have to draw, and the final thing I'll say on it, if you have to draw lines, then it's probably not an unfair advantage. An unfair advantage you would be able to see with a naked eye. Stop the frame and you'll be able to see with a naked eye. You shouldn't have to draw a frame. And I think if you have to draw a line, then it's not unfair. That's bottom line for me.
Yeah. Let's just get a few more of these super chats up in here. Should there be a transfer market for referees? Bro, if there was a transfer market, sell Mike Dean to some kind of thing, because that guy is dodgy, bro. So what do you guys? For me, I say no.
Well, no, but can we buy back Mark Clattenburg, please? Because he went off to Saudi Arabia or whatever it is, to get the millions.
Not check, man. I think we have another one here. Armchair Critic, thank you for the super chat. Armchair Critic, better manager, Pep for Barca or Zidane for Real? That's the interesting one.
I would say better manager. I would say Pep for Barca, because the style he implemented is, I know it's come through La Masia and Cruyff, etc. But you can see his style implemented into that team, and he's gone to Bayern and Man City and done the same thing. Zidane got the best out of the players at his disposal, and I'm not saying it's not. But I'm not saying, if you ask me which one was a better achievement, I would say the 3 Premier Leagues in a row. 3 Champions Leagues in a row. But him implementing that style, Zidane said, "These are my players. All right, let's play a diamond, Ronaldo and Benzema up front, and beat the opposition." I'm not saying he winged it, but I didn't see Zidane in that team, because now it's not the same. It's a different Real Madrid. So Pep, you see Pep wherever he goes and wherever he leaves, you see Pep. But it's a tough one.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm going to say Pep for Barca. I mean,
you would say that, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. Of course.
I would say, man, jeez. So suspense, man. I'm biting my nails.
Yeah, wherever Pep goes, I buy the kit in it. So it's oops, I'm going to say Pep. Pep's the greatest.
You can rebuy your Arsenal kit next season when he joins.
Yeah, right, no, that would never happen.
The reason why Kyle is on this show, which is what he actually had admitted to, what do your teams need in January? So let the complicated dude go first here. I think the first thing that Chelsea need is a left back, a good quality left back. So they're looking at Ben Chilwell, looking at all of these dudes. Robertson would be great. Liverpool want to offload Robertson because I think Emerson is average, and I think that Reece James, I think, is great at what he does. And I think because Chelsea are an attacking team, They need that attacking wing back. And inside forward is vital. Chelsea need an inside forward. And I think when you're looking at how Chelsea attack, I think Willian and Pulisic, they're just very throwback attackers. But if you're playing either this 4-2-3-1 or this 4-3-3, you look at all of the teams, specifically Liverpool, you need that inside forward. And I think Chelsea not having an inside forward, I think, is negating the effectiveness of what they can do in the attack. So I think an inside forward, you want to bring in a Sancho and a left back, a good quality attacking left back. Like for me, I like that kid, Alphonso Davies of Bayern. I think that's a real good kid. So Nix,
I had Luke Shaw's available. You lot wanted him, innit?
This was good. We're good.
What do we need? We need a right winger. James can be effective. Greenwood is not a winger. Yes, he can play there as inside forward, whatever, but he's not a winger. He's a striker. We need a winger. We need a right winger with some pace to get down the side, especially because Wan-Bissaka is not the most attacking or attack-minded fullback. We need that help down the right-hand side. And central midfield. And when I say central midfield, I'm not just talking about one. We need about 2 central midfielders if we're being really honest. And that's whether or not.
You do like Fred and Scott McTominay.
Listen, Matic is gone. Matic is going to go. Herrera's gone. Fellaini's gone. We haven't replaced any of them. Like, we need at least one central midfielder. And probably 2. Like, I'm looking at, it's not going to happen, but Maddison, I will take him.
Verratti?
Grealish, possibly. But Eriksen, me, realistically in January, I think Eriksen's a possibility. He got 6 months left. We know he wants to leave. Are Spurs willing to let him run out of contract and go for 0, or would they take some money? I would take Eriksen tomorrow.
Kyle?
Give me an hour, man.
Just back to Oos and say you want to offload the Oos. Just tell me who you want to buy, man.
Take him. Anika said he needs a right winger. Take him.
What,
take him. Yeah, take him. Take him.
Oh, wait, Kyle.
Take him.
So you want Chelsea to take the Oos? You want Chelsea to take? Is that what you say? You want Chelsea to take? Because are you saying you want Chelsea to take the Oos? If Chelsea take a fully fit Oos, let's look at CL win.
If you want him, take him. If you want him, take him. If Chelsea want him, come and grab him.
And let's see how good Barca does with Messi by himself. Look, who do Barca need, man?
Listen, they need a centre back. For the life of me, I can't figure out why PK is still in that first team. I honestly, he's so trash. He's actually garbage. I don't know why. It absolutely baffles me why he's still in the first team. But we need a centre back. We need a fullback. And holding midfielder. Those are 3 key positions. We need a holding midfielder.
Busquets.
Who's your right backs at the moment?
Semedo.
Oh, and does Roberto still play there? Sergio Roberto?
Yeah, he does sometimes, but it's mainly Semedo. But yeah, Roberto still plays there.
Okay, so let me get it straight. So Barca don't need any attacking players.
No.
Okay.
If they sell one of them, then yeah, you need to replace them. But at the moment, no.
So okay. So at the moment, you're cool with Messi, the Cannibal, and that's flop Griezmann to win the champ. That's not to win the Champions League. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I didn't say I'm cool with it, but I mean, it doesn't need rectifying immediately.
Wait, I'm confused. You say that you're not cool with it. If you're not cool with it, surely that's means someone to make you cool, because we want to make Kyle feel cool and happy. If Kyle isn't cool and happy, surely that means you need some attacking players. So Kyle, I'm confused. Do you or do you not need any attacking players in general? Because last time Messi is doing everything for that damn team attacking wise. No,
they don't. Totally, they get a centre back, a full back, and a holding midfielder. Everything sharpens up, everything tightens up, and there will be much more like onus on the attack to do their thing. There wouldn't be, the defense and the other end of the pitch wouldn't be receiving so much pressure on a week-to-week basis. If you get a holding midfielder, a centre back, and a full back, things will sharpen up. Messi and Cole will see more of the ball, and Messi won't have to do so much of the dog work. But no,
and they spent 120 million on
play.
Griezmann. You can't. You're gonna dash him away already?
Yes. Look, he was never that. Was never that great, man. Guys,
if he gets that desperate, we just recall Coutinho from loan.
Coutinho's, bro. Didn't you watch last season? Coutinho's crap, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I know he is. But it's like I said, if things get desperate, we'll recall him back.
Oh, so you're willing to recall Coutinho, but let the Us go?
No, he's trash. He can't do nothing.
Wait a minute. Wait. Do you rate Coutinho over the Us?
No, they're both trash.
It's a tie. They both lose.
Yeah, they're both awful. They're both absolutely awful.
Guys, this has been this week's football Dugout. Knicks.
Can we see the VAR poll?
Oh, the poll for the VAR. Let me pull that up for you, my dear.
What was the poll? What's the question? Should it be scrapped?
Yeah, should it be scrapped? So let me read out the what the hell? Bloody tweet! What the heck? So the results. So should we scrap VAR? 10% said not sure. 24% said wait until the end of the season. And tied for 33% was yes and no. Wow. So
okay.
People decided.
Well, more people are willing to give it time than not, which is not fair to say. But I guess you would say the silent minority or the loud majority, because if you looked at Twitter on a day-to-day basis, you think everyone wanted it gone.
No. Yeah, I mean, isn't it similar to the whole Boris Johnson thing?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, Coleman is just going to win. Boris Johnson, he got that ass. But look, man, I just like, as you guys were saying, man, it's like, bro, it's whose decisions was to be like, we're going to be different. We're the Premier League. We're going to make sure that some dude in some flipping place is going to make the decision over the president. Whoever thought of that is crazy. But I think the best thing we took from this discussion is our offside rule. And I think people have to just say, go back to the very beginning. Why did we make the offside rule? What does offside rule mean? Because I think people are so bogged down into like, oh, this is offside rule. So no. This is football. This is the sport. What was the reason why we made this rule? Unfair advantage.
Can I just say, could there be some people who would be like, oh, but you can't just change the rules? Football is always evolving. It always changes based on the game, the time that you're playing in. There was a time when you could pick up the ball as a goalkeeper from a back pass, and they changed it. So football is not beyond change. They've changed rules recently in terms of penalties, encroachment, all of those kind of things. Players in passing out from the back, goalkeepers, and where the defenders can stand. So listen, if the offside rule needs to change for the betterment of football, then so be it. Because the fact is, VAR's here to stay. You can't go back. You just have to see how much you can improve.
Guys, it's been swell. It's been good. Remember to like the vid. Remember to share the vid. Remember, you can follow Nick's below in the description box below Twitter. Kyle, do you have a Twitter account?
I'm man. I'm incognito. I'm not contactable.
You're too cool for social media.
Yeah, man.
You can they can catch him on Nick Sports.
So basically, if you want to reach Kyle, his number is 07300 5921871. So if you want to call him around, stay through. That's great. Stay good, stay real, and stay black. Stay black. Peace out. I'm out. Peace.